and quick thinking had actually saved the NRA from ruin. In the process of defending himself, he would leave behind everyone who had brought him there. "If I lose every friend," he defiantly said, "I'm prepared to do it." His insistence on saving himself over his cause, his friends, and the organization to which he had devoted his adult life would be taken poorly by those he had betrayed. It would lead, as these corporate blood disputes so often do, to high-priced lawyers. He was now surrounded by a pack of them, sitting uncomfortably in a boardroom at Schertler and Honorato, a law firm specializing in litigation. Inside the law firm's imposing concrete and granite offices in downtown Washington, D.C., one of these lawyers was mocking him. At the time, among the most outrageous public claims about his misconduct related to some 6 figures worth of Italian luxury wear from the Beverly Hills boutique, Zegna. Wayne had taken the clothing and charged it to an outside advertising agency. He had been such a common guest at the Beverly Hills store that he had a regular sales rep named Noah. Called to account for this, he blamed the agency, Ackerman McQueen, for forcing him to make the purchases. "You're a big boy, right?" asked David Schertler, an attorney for Ackerman McQueen, which had for decades been the NRA's symbiotic public relations firm. "Yes," LaPierre managed. "You're close to 70? "Yes." "You can make your own decisions about what clothes you need and what clothes you don't need. You've been dressing yourself now for a number of years." It was a stinging rebuke, and Wayne was keenly aware of his age. At that moment, he might have thought about his own mortality. After all, his father had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's at the age of 75. He could have retired years ago, and NRA insiders believe that he contemplated it 7 years prior, just before the shootings at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut, changed the trajectory of his life and the National Rifle Association forever. In the dark wake of the shootings at Sandy Hook, the NRA made a strategic choice: to double down. It took part in negotiations over the Manchin-Toomey Universal Background Check Bill, only to withdraw at the last minute and mobilize NRA supporters against the legislation. In the aftermath, it marched into the conservative culture war. It shifted further to the right, embracing Republicans entirely and abandoning even the pretense of outreach to Democrats. This would work for a time, during the Obama years, but a crash was coming. The NRA's decline started with its greatest success, the election of President Donald Trump. It had spent tens of millions of dollars to ensure his election over Hillary Clinton, but had no plan for what to do after it succeeded. The NRA sells fear. With Barack Obama gone and no imminent threat to fundraise off of, the cash began to dry up. Meanwhile, its opponents were mobilizing. The failure of gun reform legislation after Sandy Hook had infuriated gun control advocates, who poured new resources and effort into creating a national organization to challenge the NRA. The election of NRA antagonist Letitia James as the Attorney General of New York opened up the threat of a wide-ranging investigation. Congressional probes before and after Democrats retook the House of Representatives in 2018 did the same. Surrounded by the lavish lifestyles and elegant mansions of their wealthy donors and friends, Wayne and his wife, Susan, had for years tapped the NRA for personal gain. And subsequent litigation and an investigation by the New York Attorney General would finally shine a light on all that. They had managed to keep their misconduct hidden for years, rationalizing that they should get the perks that their corporate millionaire counterparts received. But what might be merely unethical or unseemly in corporate America can be illegal for a non-profit organization that is exempt from taxes, like the National Rifle Association. And they couldn't hide from the subpoenas that would soon be coming their way. This is a story about how, when it all came crashing down, Wayne turned his back on his closest confidants. And carrying a great feeling of personal betrayal, his associates would share their stories to congressional investigators or the office of the